All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to Women's Football Chat. Today we're here for yet more Women's Champions League action. We've just covered the game between SK St Polten and Juventus, a 5-0 drubbing from the visitors, and now we're here for Arsenal taking on FC Twente. Two sides in desperate need of points in the race to qualify. Arsenal sit on 6 points in 10th place in the league phase. If they win tonight, they will confirm their place in the knockout playoff round. Twente must win tonight, or at least draw, to still be in with a shot of qualifying. So a big game tonight for both these sides. Let's start with visitors FC Twente because it's been a weird competition for them. They came into the competition drawing with Chelsea in the early match weeks. And then since then, it's all seemingly fallen apart. We thought that they would be able to take the game to a few different sides in this competition, but it hasn't really materialised for Twente.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be kicking themselves because that Chelsea game felt like a real game they could springboard off and look to push on and try and cause some problems into shockwaves through the Champions League, but it really did not play out like that. After that, they then were at the hands of a surprising loss to Leuven away from home, and they were absolutely battered by Atletico Madrid in Matchweek 4. So it's been a really difficult Champions League since that draw to Chelsea, and yeah, I think Twente will be really frustrated in themselves because they put themselves in a brilliant position getting a draw against a pot 1 side, but since then, 2 losses against a pot 2 and a pot 3 team has kind of put them in a very difficult position where now they travel to the reigning European champions and are in desperate need of picking up a win.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they also drew with their other pot 3 side, which is Benfica. So they've really shot themselves in the foot because after that Chelsea result, you'd have expected them to get through in the Champions League. You'd expect them to be in a really strong position, but they're not. And now they've got to win tonight to have any realistic chance, and they've got Real Madrid next week, which they probably need to get a positive result in as well. So it looks very unlikely for Twente. As for Arsenal, patchy Champions League campaign thus far. Far from perfect, but they have got the results in the games that were most important. Yes, they lost to their pot 1 opposition, OL Lyonnais and Bayern Munich, and especially that Bayern game was in really disappointing fashion. In fact, both games they led in and then fell behind. But they did beat Real Madrid, and that was an important victory. They did beat Benfica, and now with just Twente and Leuven, their pot 3 sides left to play, it should be comfortable for Arsenal.
Yeah, it should be. As you say, it's not been a brilliant campaign, but they've the fixtures have fallen very kindly for them in terms of they knew going into this that no matter what happens, they would end the league phase with both their pot 3 sides, which, if we're being realistic, should be 6 points. So Arsenal went into the first 4 match weeks knowing that they had 6 points to play for if they didn't get the results, which is the position they find themselves in now. It's one of those where, as reigning European champions, topping the table and backing up their title credentials and coming in to defend their crown in style, it hasn't been that way, but at this point it's now about getting through. Will they jump into the top 4 and will they get through automatically into the quarterfinals? Probably not. It's they're miles off it now, and it's very unlikely that is going to be a possibility after this game week and after the likes of Barcelona and Lyon play tomorrow. But it's one of those where they've got to get the job done tonight, and if they get the job done tonight, they're in a very, very good position to then just to qualify into the knockout playoff round. And obviously, you want to finish as high as possible anyway in the league, so that you may get more of a favourable tie. So these are still big games for Arsenal. Still got to make sure they get the job done. A slip up tonight would really put the pressure on to next week. So it's about getting the job done for the Gunners and just making sure they are in that next round, and there's going to be no shock upset for the reigning champions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's dive into the lineups then. We are at Meadow Park this evening, so we'll start with the hosts Arsenal. It is a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 for the Gunners. In goal, Borba retains her place with no other fit goalkeeper available to start. In the back four, Taylor Hines, who started at the weekend at left back, moves to right back alongside Ruben Moy, Captain Catley and Katie McCabe back in the side. A midfield pivot of Cooney Cross and Mariona Caldente, with Palova the only other change alongside McCabe from the side that played Liverpool. On one side, Mead, on the other, Olivia Smith, and in the line, Alessia Russo. It's not many changes for Arsenal. Is that a surprise at all?
I think yes and no. Of course, we know that Slegers does like to stick with her favoured 11 or as close to it as possible, and we have seen a bit of a lack of rotation under Renee Slegers. And the only differences we see are mostly injury forced. I'm surprised at some players starting. I thought Alessia Russo wasn't great against Liverpool, and obviously we saw the impact that Blackstenius had. And once again, we know how good Blackstenius has been recently. Obviously, this is a kind of game that isn't going to be her style. Twente aren't going to be a high line. She's not going to get in behind. So from that point of view, I can see why Black Tennis doesn't start. But I think sometimes you do just have to reward form at the end of the day. But yeah, there's a couple of players that I'm surprised are in this side. But overall, on the whole, it's mostly what I expected from Slegers.
Worth saying as well that Alessia Russo this season has as many goals in the Champions League as she does in the WSL. So while it hasn't been a perfect start to the season in the WSL, she has still been very good in the Champions League. So it does, to that extent, make sense why we do see Russo start. McCabe coming in, her 50th appearance in the UEFA Women's Champions League. As for the visitors, Twente, then led by Karina Decker, the manager, is a 4-3-3 for them this evening. In goal, it's Leme, a back four of Van der Ved, Nol, Carle and Tuin. The midfield three of Van Ginkel, the captain, Jill Roord, a former Arsenal player, and Grona Vegan. On one side, Uda Iberink. On the other, it's Proust. And in the line, it's Ravensbergen. Who are the players to look out for then for Twente?
Again, I think we say it every time we watch FC Twente, but it's that midfield three for me that will make the massive difference today. We spoke about it, and it was one of the main reasons why they managed to get a result against Chelsea. But Van Ginkel, the captain, leads by example, very strong, very physical player, but also good on the ball. Jill Roord, obviously everybody knows the quality that Jill Roord possesses and that she can cause problems for any side in the world. So definitely a player to watch out for. And I think Ravensbergen as well is a decent forward. And if Twente can get the ball to her, she's a kind of player, if she gets chances, she will test Borba tonight. So it's important that Arsenal don't rest on their laurels and don't allow players like Jill Roord to get on the ball, because if they do, they're going to cause issues for that Arsenal backline. But for the Gunners, they know they can. I'm sure they've watched that Chelsea game earlier in the campaign. If Twente turn up today, they're going to push Arsenal all the way, and it's up to the Gunners to rise to that challenge. If Twente don't, bring that high level, then Arsenal could have a pretty nice evening of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the players out on the field, the UEFA Women's Champions League anthem is blurring, so let's dive into our predictions for this game. If you're watching along to the stream, get involved in the live chat. Let us know your scoreline predictions, and we'll make sure to read them out. We're going to start here in the studio, though, and as always, we'll start with yourself, Harry. Arsenal versus Twente, what is your prediction?
I'm going to back the Gunners. I think that Twente will turn up tonight. I think they will play better than they have done in the last couple of game weeks in the Champions League, but I think Arsenal have got enough to have the beating of them and to confirm their place into the knockout playoff round. I don't think it'll be convincing, but similar to their other victories in the Champions League, I think it'll be very much getting the job done for Arsenal. And I will say Arsenal 2, Twente 0. I think it'll be a decent performance, but not a complete domination from Arsenal. I think it'll be very similar to the Benfica game, where it was a bit of a slog at times, but they managed to find a way through and managed to win that game in towards the end of the match. I will say goals to come from, I'll say one for Calente and one for Alessia Russo.
I had to say, if it was a little bold predicting an Arsenal clean sheet at the moment, this moment in time. I thought Arsenal looked a lot better in the second half against Liverpool. I think we started to see things click in attacking areas. So for me, I think this will be a more comfortable Arsenal victory. I'm going to say 3-1. I think they'll be good in attacking areas. I still don't think their defence is particularly strong. I think without Emily Fox tonight, that is a big loss. I think the amount of times that she's bailed them out with making those recovery runs, I don't see anyone in that back line who can do that. And I think with Borba probably not being great coming off her line, I mean, we saw that on Saturday. She came out quite wildly, was lucky not to catch Peter Olsen, because that would have been a very short debut for Borba and a very sudden introduction for Lydiard, the goalkeeper who's on the bench this evening. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal get on this game, whether there is a marked improvement in attacking areas. We have seen against those weaker Champions League sides, Arsenal have looked a lot better. I thought Benfica was a really good performance. The Benfica didn't put up much of a fight, and I thought they were better against Real Madrid, to be fair. But again, I don't rate Real Madrid incredibly highly. That they are, considered one of the better Champions League teams. So, got to give credit where it's due. I think tonight should be fairly comfortable, though, for Arsenal. User Russo, anyone know where to watch this live? It is exclusively on Disney Plus. If you are looking for a way to watch the game, it is on Disney Plus this evening. ESPN's coverage on Disney Plus.
Tonight's result all depends for me on Twente's defensive discipline. If their box defending is solid, if they're concise and cutthroat with the clearances, and they can deal with the crosses and the pressure from Arsenal well, then they will make it difficult for the Gunners tonight. But if Arsenal can pull them out of their own penalty area, get Twente a little bit higher than they want them, and then play through them, that's where they're going to get their joy. But yeah, it should be a very exciting game.
Yeah, and it's Ravensbergen from the middle who gets us underway here at Meadow Park. It's Arsenal taking on Twente in matchday 5 of the Women's Champions League. And it's Twente under pressure immediately here with Beth Mead putting pressure on the ball. Ball goes down the left-hand side here for Twente. And Ruben Moy does really well there to hold off Proust. Hines plays it into Cooney Cross. Arsenal looking to switch from right to left. Not a good pass at all, though, from Cooney Cross. And Twente here could look to come forwards. Groenewegen with no forward option, though, goes back into Knoll. Here is Kylie. Back to Knoll. Phil, welcome to the stream. If you are watching along, feel free to get a prediction in the live chat for this game. And so far, the poll, 88% backing Arsenal to win. 5% going for Twente and 7% backing a draw. Ball out of play now for an Arsenal throw on that far side.
Yeah, got to be assertive, Twente. Got to be aggressive, especially when we're coming forwards. Ravensbergen's got to work hard up there to get the better of, Catley and Moy in that physical battle. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, the contest in the middle of the park is going to be the good one. I mentioned how good that Twente midfield is, and it's up against an Arsenal midfield, which we know is a bit hit and miss. Still not sure about Kalante playing in the pivot. Cooney Cross has looked okay since she's come in for the injured Little. Palova coming in for Marnham, maybe just wanting to add a bit more solidity in there. But yeah, it'll be a good, that midfield battle, that 3-on-3 between both sides midfield threes is going to be a good fight.
Yeah, Palova in the 10. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to perhaps use Palova and Cooney Cross in a pivot together and just experiment with that. I mean, Kalante, I think, has been ever present for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Or at least has started every game. I think she has been subbed off. But fleetingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also the opportunity to perhaps give her a rest. But alas. Never. Building out from the back here, Twente. And Arsenal not quick to engage, waiting for Twente to make the first move. Carlier knocks it down the line. They bypass the press well, but that's a loose control there from the Twente wide player. One back well in there, though, by Van Ginkel. And Twente back in possession. Here is Leme. Phil says, no access to Disney for me. Relying on you lads to keep me updated. I'm predicting a win with a Mido masterclass. Fair enough, Phil. And Paul Hepton going 3-1 Twente.
Wow.
We haven't had a single Arsenal prediction that is a victory, but Paul with a 3-1 Twente win. Gotta love a bit of an underdog. Ravensbergen holds up the ball well, knocks it past McCabe. It's a good recovery challenge. And then Catley there to sweep up as well, knocking it out of Meadow Park.
Yeah, well, McCabe's done well in the recover because initially got sent the wrong way by Ravensbergen, but did well to get enough on it to knock it back to Catley. But it's a positive start for Twente. They're wanting to get the ball down. They're wanting to play football. You can tell they're trying to engage that pressure. We've watched a lot so far of Leme just standing on the ball.
Yeah. And coming forward, here are FC Twente, Van der Veeg, nowhere to go. Kalante wins it back, and now Arsenal looking to break away. Rousseau holds the ball up well. Now looking out to the right-hand side. Great hold up from Rousseau. That's exactly where she is excellent for Arsenal. Being able to bring that ball down and bring others into the game. Catley. Into Cooney Cross. Now Ruben Moy. Plays it into Mead. Now Hines back round the corner. Lovely pass from Taylor Hines. Mead pokes it past the defender. Now Palova. Back inside to Hines, who's in the penalty area. Caldense now looking to wriggle some space for the shot. And that just whistling past the front post.
Yeah, better from Arsenal. Move it quickly. And this is where they're going to cause problems. So they can get that ball down and play football. Good from me down the right-hand side. Working well with Palova. And it was just slotted through really nicely into Hines. And Caldense is exactly what Arsenal need to do. Just when you get half a yard, have a go. Try and hit the target. See what can happen. And we know the quality that Mariona Caldense possesses. Definitely has the ability to find the back of the net from there. That one, though, just past the post.
Borba. Not Borba, sorry. The Twente goalkeeper, Leme. Ball around the corner there from Van der Veeg. And turned over by Cooney. Cross drops in there now for Oda Iberink. Two in. Goes out to the left-hand side with Proust, who knocks it inside to Jill Rord. Two in. And now Carlier across to Knoll. Back to Carlier. And now to Van Ginkel, who can step up into midfield. Rord. Carlier. Knoll. Carlier. Twente finding it really difficult to play out at the moment. Arsenal pressing with a front pair. Twente building up with two centre-halves and two defensive midfielders. We're seeing them split a little bit to try and create the angle for the pass. But still, they're finding it really difficult at the moment to play out. What they are finding joy with, though, is drawing those two strikers in and then being a little bit more direct.
Yeah, it's making them think. It's good for Twente because the problem we usually see is when the underdog comes to the bigger side and tries to play football. Usually there's errors, it's sloppy, and they give it away and they lose the ball. But they are struggling to get out, but they're retaining it to a certain point. I know Leme has just booted the ball off the pitch there, but they're retaining it to a certain point, which isn't going to put them in too much trouble. But as you say, eventually they're going to have to force it, and that's where it will go wrong.
Rousseau forced backwards now into Caldente. Smith. Caldente dispossessed well by Ravensberger. Iberink now into Rord. Back to Ravensberger and carry the ball forwards. And she will be forced backwards there, and it comes off Smith and out for a throw. I think the biggest thing for Arsenal with their out-of-possession structure is that they're able to slow teams down, but they never turn the ball over, or very rarely turn the ball over. And so I think they've got to be better at forcing opposition mistakes. When we saw in the first half against Bayern, they were brilliant at turning it over. And then the second half, the pressing was practically non-existent. There was so little intensity.
Yeah.
And Bayern, they just figured out how to play through the Arsenal press. And Arsenal never responded to that. So, yeah, I think it's one of those. Arsenal do need to work on out-of-possession structure. I think their attacking structure's been what's been more bemoaned, though, this season. Ruben Moy into Mead. Mead can't quite keep it under her control. Here is Van Ginkel. Carries it well. Now into Oda Iberink. He's going to look to switch the play. Hines, though, with a good interception. And now Arsenal can play out. Here's Palova. Smith wants to cut inside on that right foot. Actually goes out wide on the left foot. Cuts it back now to Palova, who gives it to Caldente. It's blocked. Falls for Beth Mead, who should score. Cleared off the line. What a important clearance that is off the line. Beth Mead unlucky not to score. And Arsenal unlucky not to be in front.
Really good from Arsenal. Somehow do not punish. They picked up on a switch of the plate and got it up the pitch, and somehow don't find the back of the net. A series of good blocks from Twente, who just didn't react initially.
Here's Smith again. Now wants to dart inside on that right foot. Tries to shit it to Palova, but it takes a nick off the Twente player, and that allows Twente to get it clear.
Twente got to react a little bit quicker. At the moment, they're letting Arsenal come at them and then reacting to whatever happens. You can't afford to do that against these kind of players. If you allow Olivia Smith to make a move and then go with her, you're going to lose her. Simple as that. You've got to try and preempt what's going to happen. You've got to be alert. And now it's just too easy.
At the moment, they're doing really well, Arsenal, to isolate Smith against the fullback, Van der Vecht. And this really should have been a goal. A good save from Leme to Zai Caldente. An important block off the line. I think it was Knoll who got back in there and stopped Beth Mead's goal. Arsenal there unlucky not to find an early advantage. Here's Steph Catley. Looking to shift it to the right-hand side. Ruben Moy goes wider still into Hines. Now Mead, who's tucked into the half space. Deft turn there. Love that from Beth Mead. Cooney cross lifts it over the top. Not a bad move from Arsenal. Just a little bit too much on that, and Rousseau wasn't going to get there. But Arsenal at the moment looking really good.
Yeah, again, moving the ball really nicely. They've started this game really well, Arsenal. They're coming right at Twente, and Twente are just getting the basics wrong a little bit at the moment. Again, Arsenal moving the ball nicely, and then I think it was Van Ginkel there who stepped up to make the challenge and dived in, and it just allowed me to spin her, and you cannot afford to do that. But Arsenal, as you say, are looking really positive.
Caldente turns over up the pitch. Now Rousseau shifts it to Beth Mead, trying to create the angle for the shot. Does so, and it's there. And Arsenal lead. It takes a deflection on its way through. But Arsenal do find a deserved opening goal in this game. They've been flooding forwards well, and it's Beth Mead, who almost had a goal denied only by a goal line clearance a few moments ago, does now find a goal in this game. Arsenal 1, Twente 0.
Yeah, making the pressure count. Arsenal tidy from Beth Mead, and good football again as he turned high over the pitch. A really poor pass, straight into the middle of the pitch, picked off by Caldente. Russo shifts it to Mead. Mead does well initially because I thought I'd touch, lets her down, but she gets it out of her feet and manages to curl it into the bottom corner. Twente. It's complete disarray all over the place, and nobody reacts. It's too slow to react.
I don't know what Noel is doing is my biggest question here, because Mead would have been offside, but Noel is so deep. She was running back to get on her own goal line before the goalkeeper would even come out. Bizarre one. Palova. Now Caldente. Back to Russo. She pokes it to Catley. Now Caldente. And Arsenal fully punished there, a defensive lapse from FC Twente.
By far, Arsenal's best first 10 minutes of the season. Where have this kind of energy, this kind of pace been in any of their other... This is really good stuff.
And they're moving the ball quickly. There's a bit of zip to their play. Mead now, ball into the area. Cleared away well by Carlet. And then hooked away to Lotte Wubben-Moy. McCabe. Now it's Olivia Smith. Wants to take on Una Ibrink. And back now into McCabe. Cooney Cross. Gets it into Smith. Back to Cooney Cross, who's supporting the attack here. There's a good cut back. No one in an Arsenal shirt. They're able to meet it. So poor from Una Ibrink there. Just jogging after the ball. It allows Smith to just nip in and get it. And now here come Arsenal, and it's Smith wants to take on Ibrink, the winger. Ibrink uses her frame well there just to muscle her way into possession and knocks it out of play. It will be an Arsenal throw, though there is some protest there from the Twente winger.
Yeah, Twente are just not matching at the moment. And obviously, of course, they haven't got the quality of the Arsenal, but it's the work rates, the desire and the pace of the game that Twente are just half a yard off it.
It's intensity. They just don't look as quick or as fit as Arsenal do, which is something we've not said a lot about Arsenal this season, but there is a real intensity to their performance so far. Palova, Hines, brought down there by Van Ginkel, deemed a fair challenge, I think it was. Roard, back now to Van Ginkel, wants to release it in behind. Brilliant from Palova to get back in there and get between the ball. It's out for a Twente throw, but there will be a stoppage here to check on Taylor Hines.
Yeah. Nothing in it. I think she did just collide with two players. Weren't a foul. But yeah, Twente really are not in this game at the moment. But Mido, was it Phil who was expecting a Mido masterclass? Yeah. Well, it's a good start.
To be fair, I think Phil's always expecting a Mido masterclass. So eventually it has to happen.
It was always going to happen one day. Maybe tonight is the night.
Well, she's done well so far. Yeah, that's a clean challenge. Hines just sort of ran into trouble.
Yeah.
And she will be checked here to ensure she's able to continue. Does seem to be okay.
Yeah. Arsenal's ideal now is to keep up this intensity, keep up this fast start, get another couple goals, and then start to rest. Everton at home on Saturday, I believe, which...
Yeah, 12 o'clock kickoff. Join us for that live.
Of course, you'd think at the Emirates against a side like Everton should be okay, but it will just be, if you can rest players up today, look what Everton did to Chelsea. You don't want to take those risks. You don't want, you've just got to be careful. So I think tonight will be a good opportunity for Arsenal to get out in front early doors.
Kills away, to be fair, not the Emirates.
Okay, so that doesn't help either. So yeah, that's definitely... I think for Arsenal, the plan will be to kill this game off and then rest up for Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Taylor Hines will be sidelined for a moment here, as is protocol, but we'll be all right to continue to it. Now, Noel, does Twente get us back underway? Carle. Looks to shift it left. We'll go back now to Noel. And now here's Leme. Back to Noel. And Twente will have to go up the right-hand side now. Ball forwards, just lumped fairly aimlessly. Caldente wins it back. Catley. Strong in there, but it falls to Una Iberink. And now all the way back to Twente in between, but Leme in between the Twente sticks. Null. Again, a lumped ball forwards. These are not finding anyone at the moment. These just sort of innocuous lumped balls.
There's no point trying to be brave and play out if you're just going to just resort to pumping it long once it doesn't work. Either play to be direct and use that as your game plan, or brave playing out.
And Iberink there, dispossessed. A little unfortunate because that looked like it came off Olivia Smith, but it will be an Arsenal throw it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, I understand she's a bit frustrated, but I do think this first 15 minutes she's done more moaning than she has running.
Yeah, I mean, that looked more like dejection than frustration to me.
Yeah.
Twente already know they're in a desperately difficult situation. A goal down early on in this game makes any chance of qualification now seem, well, illogical.
Yeah. But I just don't understand it because it just feels like everything they've done so far has completely bypassed their three of their best players.
Yeah.
Get Rord on the ball, get Van Ginkel on the ball, and make things happen.
If there was any aspect of this pitch where Twente were going to get the upper hand tonight, it was going to be in midfield. Because I don't think Arsenal's midfield structure is solid. You know, it's very aggressive, and if you can get the physical edge, I think you can take Arsenal on. Ball in from Smith, dealt with well by Knoll, but instead they just knock it to their right centre half and just smash it forwards. Yeah. And they don't even have anyone up front because Ravensbergen's pulling wide, so there's no one up there as a presence. So who are they aiming for? Roared out to the left hand side. Proust goes back into two in now across the back line. It's Knoll in possession. Carlier under pressure from Russo does find Knoll. Carlier again. Lloyd welcome to the stream, says good morning, lads and listeners tuning in as I drive to work. Come on, you Gunners. Thank you for tuning in, Lloyd. Appreciate supporting the show. And enjoy your drive to work. Drive safely. Drive responsibly. That's the message for tonight's stream.
There we go.
Ball forward. Got to learn something new. Here's Catley. Across to Woobenmoy. Plays it into Taylor Hines. He's getting a lot of space on this right-hand side. Now to Palova. Tries to roll Van Ginkel. It's a good challenge there from Van Ginkel, but it falls to Cooney Cross. Here's Catley. Now McCabe. Catley. You know, the problem is, Arsenal mistakes tend to come from their back line being pressed aggressively, and Twente just aren't doing that. And not putting enough pressure on the likes of Steph Catley or Lotte Woobenmoy, who I think are players that if you put a lot of pressure on, you can force those errors.
Yeah. It I don't know. It feels like Twente have turned up. It's like an in-house friendly when you play a B-side. As that B-side, you know that your kind of job is to lose the game. And it feels like Twente...
They've just lost that belief. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, in terms of it just feels like they're like, okay, we're going to turn up here. We know we're probably going to lose, but yeah, we're just here to make the game happen. And that's how I go about it. It just feels like... I don't think anyone in Twente's shirt at the moment is giving it 110%, which is where you need to be if you want to take the game to sides like Arsenal.
Yeah, but
it's where they were when they beat Chelsea. I mean, obviously, you know, it's different. You're away from home, and Arsenal are playing a lot. When Chelsea, and Arsenal are playing a lot better than Chelsea did on that day. But yeah, it's just I'm surprised. I know they haven't been brilliant since that draw, so maybe I've got to take that into consideration.
It's weird because I thought they played really well in the Chelsea game, and Chelsea weren't perfect. Don't get me wrong, but I think they still played really well. And then since then they've been really poor. By the way, we have got another goal in one of the other Champions League games. It's Real Madrid 1, VfL Wolfsburg 0. Maria Mendes leads the goal.
Wow.
And it was from a corner, Ava Navarro picking up the assist. So Real Madrid lead Wolfsburg. As it stands, that would push them into the top 4, which is, of course, automatic qualification for the quarter-final stage. As it stands, Arsenal up to 6th after a difficult start, albeit Man United, Bayern, Chelsea and Atleti, who they've jumped, all play tomorrow evening. But still would be quite an impressive turnaround after losing both their pot one games.
Absolutely. Again, we're seeing a lot of a story of team. I mean, just on Real Madrid there, that they have not had the best time of it in the Liga F, but in the Champions League they seem to have got it all right.
It's funny as well because I didn't think they're very good against Arsenal, and I think like every time I've watched them, they haven't been incredible.
Yeah,
but they have had quite a kind draw of games. You know, they played a Roma side who've been awful at this year's Champions League. They played Arsenal, who they lost to. They drew with Paris FC, and they beat PSG, who are bottom with 0 points.
Yeah.
So yes, they've not been good in Liga F. And Champions League, they've got the results, but they've not been brilliant. Here is Russo. Chance now for Arsenal. Can't quite get her way through a few bodies there. Here is Olivia Smith. Wants to come inside. Was caught by Van Ginkel, and the referee must have closed her eyes because Twente are allowed to continue. Rord finds Proust. To be fair, not many complaints from Arsenal players. And one back in there by Taylor Hines.
Yeah, that was a foul.
Yeah, it looked like she was upended quite violently.
Yeah, she was. And unsurprisingly, she's still down on the deck because that was a foul.
I'm just surprised we didn't really see Arsenal call for it. I don't mind it. Play on. I think that's good from us. I'm just surprised we didn't really see more of a complaint. That looked like quite the egregious challenge.
Yeah, we'll see here. Does she get the ball? No idea. Just takes her out. just takes her out. I mean, Smith's having a field day. Smith is having an absolute field day. I think it was the landing more than anything that has hurt Smith. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, she's just taken out. That's a foul.
A day late, but not a dollar short. And a few extra quids, and got away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Smith does get back to her feet. Will be all right to continue.
But that sums up how Twente's game's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, Olivia Smith is running right out there, having such a good game.
Yeah, it looks dangerous. I mean, I think the problem is they're giving Smith too much respect.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think a lot of the WSL sides know what to expect from Smith. I think, tonight, what I've been really impressed by is the fact that she's going onto her left foot more. I think what we've seen from Smith recently is that she is too one-dimensional. She's brilliant at cutting inside and shooting from the edge of the penalty area. That is an archetypal Olivia Smith moment and goal. But what I want to see is more dynamism, a bit more unpredictability from a wide player. And I think what we've seen so far tonight is that she's starting to get a little bit more confidence going out wide on that left-hand side.
I think tonight she might go onto her left foot every time now because if she knows if she comes on her right foot, she gets smashed into. But yeah, it's
go under pressure and it's turned over again. Poor touch. Palova puts it on top of the keeper. And, well, Arsenal probably should have capitalised better there.
Well, I spoke about Van Ginkel potentially being Twente's best player tonight and being that leader and leading by example. I think she's probably been Arsenal's best player as well.
So far this evening.
It's not been great at all. But again, we're back to watching
Twente build up. Can they be a little bit more successful? Knoll lifts it forwards. Rord will get onto this one. Catley wins it, but that is poor from McCabe, and she does bail herself out there with a good challenge to dispossess Una Eibrink. But initially, that was not brilliant from McCabe.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those. There was McCabe, where she's made an error, and they had a fantastic tackle to rescue it.
Caldente across the Cooney cross. And now Hines, not sure why she's played that first time, and she's dispossessed there by Proust. Swept up well, though, by Cooney cross to bail her out. Mead down the line into Taylor Hines, who holds the width well. This a better delivery, though it's blocked at the front post into the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, good from Arsenal. Turn the ball over, move it quickly, get it out wide, and that time the deflection helping Twente out. But
I think that's right. When people ask, people ask why I don't think Taylor Hines is a top player. It's moments like those where I think she just loses the ball too easily sometimes. Yeah, I think there are patches of her defensive game that aren't great as well, but it's predominantly the fact that, because she's quite an attacking fullback. But I think for an attacking fullback, sometimes the decision making is really poor, and just seems to give the ball away unnecessarily. That's why I didn't think she'd ever make the step to a bigger club, because she's a good crosser of a football and quite a creative fullback, but the defensive side is lacking, and you need to be sort of an elite attacking fullback like Katie McCabe, for example, to get away with not being great defensively.
And then she made the step up to the side that already had a creative attacking fullback that isn't great defensively.
But I mean, if you're going to replace McCabe with a very similar mould of player,
True.
Taylor Hines is that. And to be fair, I mean, people talk about Jenna Nigel needing to leave. I mean, she probably will leave anyway in January, but McCabe is now over 30. It's not going to be long before Arsenal need to start to think about a more permanent replacement.
Right.
Hines is going to be built up in that mould, but yeah, they could do with a young fullback option as well that gets minutes.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where Hines, when she has subbed in for McCabe, has looked okay. It's nights like this where I think when she's come into that Fox role, where it's just looked a little bit shaky.
I don't think you can replace with what Fox does, though, with anything that Arsenal have to offer.
True.
Here is Ravensberg and looks to cut it into the box. Chance now for Proust. Can't quite meet it at the right height. And that one's sailing over the bar.
Yeah, sailing over the bar, sailing out of the ground. A rare foray forwards for Twente. It was a great ball down the line. Ravensberg just want to get there. Puts a great ball into Proust, who somehow, again, we're literally talking about it right now, manages to get the wrong side of Taylor Hines in the penalty area. And I'm not really sure what she's done with the header. That has gone directly up, but I don't think it ever came back down.
It seemed to be completely out of her grasp. I don't put too much blame on Proust there. I think the ball was put with too much power and pace that it was difficult for Proust to redirect that. Mead back now to Wuben-Moy. Down the line into Hines. Looking to find the forward option. Back to Lotta Wuben-Moy. And now it's Catley. McCabe. Twente have got to be more direct, though. I think if you can put this backline under pressure, there are frailties there for Arsenal. And since that goal, I mean, Arsenal started with, it was electric. It was so quick. It has slowed down again, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I think that, and again, this is a problem we have spoken out of Arsenal when they get their opening goal, or not pushing on, not being aggressive and being ruthless and going to kill teams off. And we saw there how you've got to be careful in these kind of matches. They haven't pushed on. They haven't got a second goal. And Twente there, if Proust had found the back of the net with that, would have been all level again from absolutely nothing. So they've just got to be careful, Arsenal, that they don't. You want to get another couple of goals to really kill this game off.
Yeah. By the way, the other game in the Champions League we haven't really mentioned yet. PSG 0, OH Leuven 0 after 26 minutes. Neither side really offering much at the moment. I don't think anything summarises PSG's campaign better than the fact that they haven't really done anything yet against OH Leuven.
I think Leuven will really fancy themselves in that game. And if they win that, they've got a really good shot of getting into the playoffs.
Well, even a draw would put them on 6 points, and that would mean that they just need a point in their final game week to qualify. If they do win tonight, they are through.
Yeah.
So big opportunity for OH Leuven to get into that knockout playoff round. The round that likely Arsenal will be in now. It's hard to envision them being in that top 4. Cooney Cross shifts it inside to Taylor Hines. Cuts back now to Palova, who should shift it to Mariona Caldente. Takes a touch, takes aim. Blocked well by Knoll. And well, if they'd shifted that a little bit quicker, Arsenal, that probably could have been 2-0.
Yeah, right ideas, as you say. It's a little bit clunky, and that allowed Twente to get back across, but probably one touch too many from both Caldente and Palova. That was a very silly thing to do in their own penalty area from the Twente defender. I think she was all right, but looked to head the ball away, led with her arm, and I think it just caught the top of her shoulder rather than a hand or an arm, but that's a very risky thing to do in your own area.
Smith dragging down Rord there, so it is a Twente free kick. Here is Leme under pressure from Russo, plays out despite it, and finds Una Iberink. Holds it up well under pressure from McCabe, but McCabe turns it over. Here's Mariona Caldente. It's going to be forced back there by Ravensbergen. And now slips it into Cooney Cross. He's under pressure from Van Ginkel and Rord, but does manage to wriggle out and get it back to Steph Catley. Now Wuben-Moy, and they'll move from left to right. It's Mead holding the width well here for Arsenal. Lifts it forward into the run of Palova. A little messy there between Van Ginkel and Carlier at the back for Twente, and almost putting it in their own net.
Yeah, again, Arsenal having a lot of joy on this right-hand side, and yeah, it was flicked on by Palova. With not
Palova attempting the audacious there.
Yeah, it didn't actually make any contact with it. I think it just caught both defender and goalkeeper out, and Carlier turned it towards her own net. Luckily, Lemmy managed to react in time to start that going in.
Yeah, indeed. Arsenal over this corner. And it will be Katie McCabe to take. Queuing up at the back post, ready for this delivery. It's hung towards that back post. A header across the box, bouncing wide from Alessia Russo.
Yeah, very close, just skimming past the far post. Great ball in from Katie McCabe. And Russo unmarked by Twente and nearly made them pay. Very, very close from Russo. But yeah, no one's near her. Somebody's got to be tighter there. No one picked her up. Smart movement from Russo. Just couldn't make it count. But yeah, half an hour gone. Arsenal feel like they should be in a bit more of a commanding lead at this stage of the game.
Yeah, indeed. One back in there by McCabe. Catley, now McCabe. But it's been their problem. They've not killed this game off yet. And I mean, at the moment, it doesn't prove to be a problem. But suddenly, Twente could change this game. They could just create an opportunity, take the chance, and then suddenly the game's level again.
Yeah.
Here's Cooney Cross. Oof. Not quite coming off there for Arsenal.
Yeah, Cooney Cross. It's been an interesting one. I think, also, we haven't seen her play. So I don't like to criticise her too much because she barely played a minute before Little got injured. And then she's come in and played quite a lot. And I don't think it's quite been the performances that she would have hoped.
Cooney Cross?
Yeah.
That's a little harsh. I think Here's Meads coming forwards. Back now to Taylor Hines. I don't think it's her best position in terms, because she's playing as the deeper, sort of more of a six mould, where she's dropping between the centre halves and dropping wide to receive the ball in deep areas. I just don't think that's the best use of her. If you imagine Leah Vouty still played for Arsenal, I think pairing her with Cooney Cross would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Mead ball into the box. That's blocked immediately by Carlier, and Proust gets back in and clears it out for a throw. I think she'd be brilliant alongside someone who's a little bit more defensively minded. But alongside Karen Say, it's Cooney Cross that has to be that deeper player.
Mm.
And so I think a lot of her issues have come from Arsenal's midfield just getting dragged forwards, and then it's everyone running at Cooney Cross. That's not really where you want her.
Yeah. I'm just glad to see her playing football, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think her in-possession qualities are there for everyone to see.
Mm.
So it should be nice to see her being a little bit more creative and given that license to be the more attacking, more advanced midfielder. Here's Mead. Knocks back inside, and that was firm but fair, it feels, from Chewin. And now Proust wants to break away. Not sure why he's trying to do that there. Caldente lashes it towards the far post, and that a little rush from Mariona Caldente.
Yeah, did really well, Caldente, to win the ball back. As you say, not sure what Proust is trying to do. No one has ever tried to take on Mariona Caldente in their own third before. And that is the reason. But Caldente not punishing. The cross has got to be better there. From Caldente just lashed it across the box in a bit of a hope that someone will be able to get on the end of it.
WSL says, did you just compare someone to Messi? No, I did not. I think you're confusing that with Leah Vouty. Not Messi.
No.
Here's Hines. Looks to play it forwards. Finds Pullover. It's forced wide. Now Mead. Tries to poke it through the lines, and that'll run through to Lemme. Phil says, Cooney Cross has talent for sure, but she's very loose with the ball and she takes risks in very questionable areas. But again, I think that's because she's playing in the wrong areas. Like the same reason that Karen Tay this season for me hasn't looked great. It's because at times she's giving the ball away deep in the field because she shouldn't be deep in the field.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as if you put any attacking player. I mean, Chelsea had Kat Macaro dropping into defensive midfield last weekend. She give a little more leeway when she gives the ball away because she's not a defensive midfielder. Now, CW Welcome says, damn, Twente playing terrible if they let Mead, of all people, score. That's harsh. I think Beth Mead's done well in this game. It was a very deserved goal. But I do think Twente playing terrible. I just don't agree with your point necessarily. Moving Mike out to the right-hand side. Here's Hines. Now out to Mead. Hines tries to play it forward. Tries to force that ball forwards a bit. And now here's Proust, knocks it down the line. Roared back to Proust. Lovely turn in there. Arsenal got back in quickly though. 2 in. Now Carlier across to Knoll. And now wide, and this is nice play. Van der Vecht holds onto the ball well. Back to Knoll. All the way back to Carlier. Knoll. Van Ginkel. Back to Knoll. Possession not quite as cut and dry as you'd expect, or dominant for Arsenal. Great ball in behind. Here's Una Iberink. And here comes Twente, skips through, tries to cut it back, but I think she's gone off the end of the pitch, and she has indeed. Heavy touch there for Una Iberink. Couldn't quite keep it on the field of play.
Yeah, did well initially. I think made the wrong decision to try and go around the outside McCabe there. Yeah, just ran out. I think.
Unlucky, that's very close.
It would have been close. I'm surprised they didn't let Twente play on and then see if they went to score.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just made the wrong decision there to try and go around the outside with the pitch really running away from her.
McCabe looking to switch the play. Phil says, this recent meet hate is crazy. She's lost the yard post to the injury, but she's still consistently superb for club and country. I think superb is hyperbolic, Phil. You know, I don't think she's scored yet in the WSL this season.
Sure, she must have.
I don't think so.
I think she's got better since the injury. I think that's the bit. I think that's where the line's been blurred. I agree. I don't think she was brilliant.
Yeah, 0 goals in the WSL this season, 4 assists. To be fair.
Yeah, I think that's where the line's blurred. Because I agree. I think when she initially came out from her injury, as expected, I don't think she was up to the standard. And obviously, that's when the Pitt was saying, should she leave? Should she go? But I think this season has been much better than she was last season.
Yeah. I mean, she's provided assist for the Champions League final last season, to be fair.
That is true.
I think she's become a different mould of player. She's stopped being a goal scorer and she's now more of a creator. But, yeah. Phil says, doesn't she lead the league in chances created? I can have a look. I think she's up there. I don't think she leads the league, though. Cooney Cross. Back now to Wubben-Moy. And now Caldente. Out towards the left-hand side. Catley. Now wide into Olivia Smith. What can she make happen here? Cuts inside. Looks to cross it into the box. It's headed away. And then hooked clear by Roard. Wubben-Moy. Now out to Mead. Tries to play it inside. It's going to drop to Cooney Cross. Wubben-Moy. Back to Mead. And that'll go all the way back to Catley. Nigel says, outside of Barcelona, who are we saying is emerging as a favourite for this year's UWCL? I don't think Barcelona are a favourite.
They are.
I think Barcelona. Yeah, obviously by the media stuff. I don't think Barcelona will win it this year. I think the squad is too thin.
But they're in the conversation.
Oh, they've always been in the conversation. Yeah. You know, unless they fold, Barcelona will be in the conversation. But I don't seriously see them winning it this season. Despite they are still an incredible team, but I think I think the fact they drew with Chelsea shows a lot. And actually, in that game, Chelsea had a lot of chances that they could have won that game. And Chelsea are not, 100% right now. I think in terms of favourites, people will say it can't possibly be Chelsea because they lost to Everton. I don't really think that's relevant. I think what Chelsea have shown this season is that they've beaten all the top teams or drawn with them. And I think that is different to what we've seen in previous years. So I think they'll be up there. I think OL Lyonnais are probably the favourites for me because they have 2 11s that could win the Champions League. They have the best manager in the world. Like, it's so difficult to see them losing games.
Yeah, that's my point.
They started something against Arsenal though, and there was a little bit of fallibility there, but they went on to win it.
It smashed him.
But both of those were individual errors.
Yeah,
they forced to an extent, but still.
I just think, for me, it's one of those where, as you say, I think Barcelona, Chelsea, and Arsenal have all got their flaws, which then, to me, that lends its hand to either Lyonnais are going to win it or it's going to be another year of an upset.
I think Arsenal winning still an upset, though.
Yeah, What, again?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Like, the reigning champions winning it again isn't an upset because they've already won it.
But it depends on the manner they win it.
Well, yeah, they
Well,
smashed Lyonnais 8-0 in the final.
Arsenal haven't come into the season playing like incredible football. They don't look like the polished article at all. But if they won, so I think if they won the Champions League this season, that would be a surprise.
I think it'd be a surprise if any team bar Lyon won it at the moment.
Juventus are going to win it.
Do you know what?
Girelli in a dream.
Yeah.
For me, it's still Barca as favourites. I could see them getting knocked out quarters.
By Girelli in a dream.
Yeah, no Bonmati until the semi-final stage. I think it's a massive loss. I can't see them not pick up. No, Patrick Ayara is arguably a bigger loss than Bonmati, by the way. I can't see them not picking up another major injury before then, given that everyone has to play so much football for Barca.
I've just imagine the way the world of football would change if Mark Skinner and Man United found a way to win the Champions League. I think the world would end before Mark Skinner won the Champions League.
I think Emma Hayes would give up her coaching badges.
Yeah.
Out of protest.
Or she'd leave America to sabotage him or something.
Yeah. Free kick there, Olivia Smith brought down. She's done really well to draw fouls tonight.
Oh, she's been brilliant.
She's been constantly foul.
I mean, the only way Twente can deal with that is just to kick bits out of her, which is why some of the best players do pick up injuries.
Phil says we lost to every top team we played outside of Barca last year and won it. Yeah,
that is a great point.
Proper underdog story.
Yeah, it's so incredibly ridiculous. It just shows you how surprising it was.
Well, it comes down to 90 minutes. That's what the Champions League is. It's Leuven who can have the mentality, who can coach the game well to win in 90 minutes. I don't think Leuven are going to win the Champions League. Chance now for Arsenal. Bounce around the area. Mead will try and keep it alive, but Lemay will jump on the ball. Naya says, as much as people are shocked Arsenal beat Barcelona, I'm more surprised at how they went to Lyon and pulled off that turnaround in the second leg after losing at home. I think there's a lot of complacency. I mean, they dropped Dumonet into midfield in that game. Lyon, at the time. Now Lyonnais. I think that was a huge mistake from Montemurro. Yeah.
That's the difference, is I think Arsenal, of course they won both games on merit, but in terms of Arsenal went into that final and outplayed Barcelona. I think
they didn't outplay Barcelona.
I think, but
that's not
no. But
how I would describe that game.
Okay,
they nailed
they got it right. Arsenal got it right to beat Barcelona. They found a way to stop Barcelona and to beat them. I think in the Lyonnais game, Lyonnais got it wrong and Arsenal punished that.
Yeah. I think the difference is they got Geraldes now, and somehow even better options off the bench, which is an insane thing to say when last year they had Ada Hegerberg, Vicky Becko, and Eugene Le Sommer, but now it's Mary Antoinette Katoto, Eula Brand.
Why are we even having this conversation? Leon isn't going to win the Champions League again. It's going to be boring.
Because they've won the league, so they can rest in that for the second half of the season.
Because PSG have got absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I think the only other thing that could have an impact is if Chelsea are just genuinely out of the league conversation. So I think that does change the dynamic. Chelsea would then be able to rest in the WSL. When we saw Arsenal do it at the end of last season, they threw away 2 games against Villa and Brighton. And then they went on to win the Champions League. So that could have an impact if the league is already... Because City looks so good.
Yeah.
And Chelsea are struggling to win games at the moment. Roared. Video coming up on that tomorrow. I'm not sure how many Chelsea fans will be watching Arsenal Twente stream, but if they are, look out for that. Or if you're not a Chelsea fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it even more. 2 in. Puts it into the box. Headed away well by Ruben Moy. Drops to the back post. Was Van der Beek dragged down there by Smith. She called for it. Not a lot of her teammates called for it. And Smith is now driving the ball away and has been nudged down there by Groenewegen, I believe it was.
Yeah, they'll have a look. I don't think there's enough in it for me. And I don't think the ball is necessarily in play in terms of if she doesn't fall down there, does she get to the ball? I don't think so.
I'd like to see a replay.
But again, it's another example. Oh, yeah, watch the replay. Ball in. That also doesn't matter. No.
There's enough in it for me at all.
No, Smith carries on running. and yeah, it's not a penalty. But I think the concern will be with a minute to go to half time is that Arsenal haven't kicked on, and it is only 1-0. And that again, although it is a fleeting opportunity, and although Twente didn't actually get a shot from it, it just shows that all it takes is one moment, one opportunity, and this game is right level again.
Cooney cross into Mead. Now knocks it into Hines. Now to Mead. And that's blocked well, and it's out for an Arsenal corner.
That ball from Caldente is absolutely brilliant. Hines plays it into her, and Caldente just dinks it over the top of two defenders and perfectly weighted into the path of Mead. Yeah. So good.
If she was allowed to play on the edge of the box more, rather than having to play defensive midfield, how good would Arsenal look? 2 minutes of additional time in this game. And Arsenal now with another corner. And a chance to put Twente under more pressure. It's McCabe over it again and again. You'd imagine this will be towards that back post. And there's going to be a delay so the referee can explain to the players in the box not to push each other.
Still find it's incredible. They're adults. Let them push each other and then just give a penalty or a free kick.
Yeah. Is it more of a case of the referee not wanting to have to determine which way it's gone?
Yeah, you just want to keep things civil. You want to keep things controlled. But also, it's one of those where if you can... It's like, if you had, in hindsight, if you have the ability to stop a foul happening before it happened, you would. It's easier just to talk to two people and tell them to stop rather than don't do that and then have to make a decision.
Ball in from McCabe. Bounces around. And now Cooney across, looking to keep it alive. Hines. That's blocked. It's going to drop now to Mead. Hooks it up in the air. Oh, Tewins misjudged that one horribly. Catley battling away with her. And that'll be out for an Arsenal throw.
They just need to get through this next 30 seconds, and they'll leave themselves in a not a bad place going into the second half.
A big moment in the game between Real Madrid and Wolfsburg. Mela Lacroix sent off for Real Madrid. Groenewegen on the ball. Twente will get a free kick there. Russo just grabbing at Groenewegen. And this free kick will likely be the last kick of the first half as Neme will come and take it.
Yeah, Twente, I don't think they've been very good. Usually at this point we'd say, do you know what, they reacted well to going a goal down and they've turned this half on its head, but no, they haven't been great.
Arsenal's just slowed down a lot, and I think that's given Twente more respite and they've been able to get back in a lot easier.
And it's such a shame.
Half time here at Meadow Park. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. That early strike from Beth Mead being the differentiator in the early part of this game. FC Twente done well not to concede after that. But it could have been too early on after Beth Mead had one headed off the line by Knoll. But at half time it is Arsenal 1, FC Twente 0.
Yeah, really good fast start from Arsenal, earning them the lead at half time. But it will be a question of what could have been because they carried on that tempo and that can't think of the word now. Intensity, that's the word. Then they would have probably had a lot more joy and found a lot more goals and go into half-time with a more commanding lead. But instead, Twente, despite not being very good, are still in this game. And a big discussion there on the Twente bench between Karina Decker and her coaches. As all the players walked in at half-time, they looked to be staying out, sat on the bench. I'm sure they'll walk in at some point.
Let the players talk.
Mate, yeah, not a bad idea that at all. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in Arsenal, to be honest, because that first 15 minutes had the ability to completely wipe the floor with Twente and put them out of the game at half-time. Instead, they got their goal and then just, in true Arsenal fashion, didn't kick on and are now still only leading by a goal to nil. If they'd carried on that tempo, I genuinely believe there'd be 2 or 3 up at half-time. But instead, because they took their foot off the gas and because they slowed it down, they're now still in a game. And that's why I just don't understand it. Because surely you go for it, you stay aggressive, take more risks and kill the game off, rather than just getting one and then just being conservative for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I think Arsenal have slowed it down a lot. It's that weird thing, isn't it? Is it deliberate? Because in which case, why?
Yeah.
What is the thinking there? I know that they came out really fast, really intense. It would have been difficult to maintain that intensity, but the drop-off is so severe. They go from a side playing really quick, really sharp football to really slow football. And I think it's interesting. Maybe over a season, it's more sustainable, of course, because you're not playing at 180 miles an hour. But if they played like that for another 30 minutes, it'd probably be 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And the second half, they'd have no risks of losing the game, and they could slow the game down with no qualms. But I do worry Twente could still believe that this game is there for the taking. That they need to win, but they need to only find 2 goals. It's not out of sight.
Yeah, exactly that. Or even just for an Arsenal's sake, even obviously Twente drawing wouldn't necessarily help the Dutch side, but it would hinder Arsenal massively. But yeah, I said it when the goal went in.
A draw would keep Twente's dreams alive. They are currently on 2 points, so they got to 3 points. They'd then only be 2 points off of Paris FC. They'd only be 3 points off of Leuven and Atletico.
Yeah, so it's not terrible. So it would still help them, but I said it when the goal went in. Arsenal's plan has got to be to kill this game off, and then they can rest up at half time and focus on the Everton game on Saturday. But because they haven't done that, they've now got to play your strongest 11 players still out there until you do kill the game off, and then you can rest them up. But by that point, it's to be pointless resting players because they're just they're only going to get 20, 30 minutes. They need to bring that intensity and kill this game off quickly, Arsenal, because as you say, football is a funny game sometimes, and even when sides look miles out of it, when the scoreline is only 1-0, it takes one shot, an own goal, a penalty, a red card or anything for Arsenal that changes this game, and suddenly it goes from looking like a good 3 points to being in real trouble. So they've got to be careful, Arsenal. They don't throw it away. Even 2-0 at Bayern Munich wasn't enough in the second half. I know Twente are nowhere near that Bayern Munich level at the moment, and I'd be stunned if they were in the second half, but yeah, Arsenal got to be really careful because a moment of madness or a sloppy error from somebody now could really cost them because they haven't got that buffer that they really should have built in the first half.
Yeah, Lloyd says lack of tempo is the issue. I think, the confusing thing for Arsenal is it's not like they set out playing slow and it continues to be slow. It's the fact you watch them play this quick, exciting football and then they slow it down. And I don't understand that personally. I'd wait until you're in a much more comfortable position and then shift. I think to an extent as well, obviously early on you move it quickly aside, it's still not settled into their structure and that changes. Obviously Twente will adjust how Arsenal are playing and will be better drilled as the game goes on. But still, if a side like Arsenal should be able to draw space, should be able to create those triangles and move the ball a lot quicker. So I don't think there's really an excuse for why they're slowing it down to the extent that they are. So I think that is the biggest issue for Arsenal at the moment, because if they kept playing like they did in the first 10 minutes, we'd be talking them up as one of the strongest sides. But it's the bizarre reason. It's a bizarre conversation as to why they keep slowing the game down, why they insist on playing this very slow and not exciting brand of football. That's the big confusion for me. But I think Arsenal are more set up to be either a fast team or a much more transitional side to an extent.
Yeah, I think it's such a weird decision. Obviously, it's every manager has a way they want to play and has a way they want to do things, but surely you also have to look at the tools in your arsenal, no pun intended, and do something that's going to benefit the whole of the club and everyone on the pitch. But yeah, it's interesting. Of course, it's working. They're winning, and that's what matters. If this was 0-0, then it'd be a more serious conversation. But as you say, if it feels so Arsenal now for Twente to come out of the second half and break early, or to get up the pitch and win a penalty, or for a moment of madness from Borba or somebody at the back, and suddenly this game's level and they're going to drop points, a big drop of points. So it's not a nice situation to be in.
And given the territorial dominance Arsenal have had, the fact that they've only taken, 7 shots isn't bad, but 2 on target, 1 big chance created so far, they'd have wanted to do a lot better than that. Granted, Twente haven't had chances. They've only taken 1 shot, but equally, Twente have got into better positions and just not found that final ball. So I think that has to be a bit of a warning klaxon to Slegers and to Arsenal that this game isn't a foregone conclusion. But I think they're aware of that. So, we'll see how they come out in the second half, see how they respond. I think that they will continue to try and dictate the game. 60% possession, it's not bad at all. But they've got to be very mindful of Twente in the second half. I think they'll look to try something a little bit different. Twente try and be a little bit more offensive. That could open up gaps for Arsenal to exploit, but it could also result in Twente coming forward and looking a lot more dangerous. So, they've just got to manage this game now, Arsenal. See out the 3 points. The points are the most important thing at this stage. As long as they get the 3 points, they are through to knockout playoff round. And as much as they would have wanted at the start of this campaign to finish in the top 4, that isn't a realistic possibility now. And I think they very much just want to qualify.
Yeah, they just want to get through, get the job done. Don't take it into the final game week. It's like taking, in a domestic division, it's like taking the season or a moment to the final day. You never want to do that. You want to have your job done, get through, or without any problems. So get the job done tonight, and then they don't have to worry about next week. That can just be a rotated 11 that goes out there and gets the job done. But yeah, just finish it off now. Get yourselves qualified, and then that's one thing off the mind. A dodgy result tonight, and suddenly there's a lot of pressure on next week. But yeah, they've got to be careful. Twente have got quality. They haven't shown it yet. I'm surprised that they haven't shown it yet, but they have got it. If they want to, start playing some football and getting their best player. I don't think Jill Roy's touched the ball, to be honest.
No,
and that is a massive help to Arsenal because, when Jill Rod's quiet, it usually means that Twente aren't really creating much. But if they can look to get Jill Rod on the ball and creating stuff, if Van Ginkel wants to start playing football rather than just taking people out, that will also help. And I think the front line have got into some good positions every now and again. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those. Twente have got quality, they just haven't shown it yet. And Arsenal showed us all their quality in the first 15 minutes, and we haven't really seen too much of it since then.
Yeah. PSG are absolutely rubbish, aren't they?
Why now?
Just still level against Leuven at half time. The fact that they've not really dictated that game the way they would have wanted to. Yeah, 67% possession, but they're yet to create a big chance. 7 shots, only 2 on target. The moment they're leaving the door open to Leuven, getting that point and putting themselves in a good position to get into the knockout playoff round.
Is Kanjinga on the pitch?
Just no.
That's why I was about to say that 7 shots seemed low. That's
Yeah.
If they get Kanjinga on there,
They're playing a front three of Echegini, who was playing in central midfield.
They did that. Yeah, they did that before.
Karchawi at left wing.
What?
And Rome Loikta leads the line.
That is so wrong. That is just
I feel like they've changed formation every game.
Yeah, that's not how you play football. That's just not the team. That's not a team. That's not a front three you put out.
And they've got an 18-year-old and 17-year-old in the midfield. It's an incredibly young PSG side, and yeah, they're not doing particularly well. Leuven, by all accounts, defending well at the moment. That's the other big game. Real Madrid leading, but of course that late red card for Myla Lacra in added time in the first half does leave them somewhat vulnerable now to VfL Wolfsburg. As it stands, though, Real Madrid would sit 4th in the Champions League phase, a point ahead of Wolfsburg and a point ahead of Arsenal. Wolfsburg would be 5th with 9 points. Obviously, a few sides to play tomorrow, though. Manchester United, Bayern and Chelsea all with the opportunity to move back up the table. But, of course, Man United with a tricky test hosting OL Lyonnais.
Yeah, I hate when we get to this point in the night and I realise all the things I did wrong in UWCL Fantasy. I don't know why I captained Pop. I didn't even consider Girelli. I don't know why I never considered Girelli. That's a really daft thing to do. I also have Lacra, so that's not ideal.
That is not. I captained Mario Nicaldo and say I've got Emily Fox who didn't play. I've got Tatiana Pinto who got 9 points. Rubbish. And I got Pedro Magnin 6 points. So I'll sub in Clara Buell, likely for Caldente at the moment, unless Caldente does something. And I'll probably sub in Selma Batcher for Emily Fox. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. But no, I must have just not looked at Girelli.
Outrageous. H says Twente only need that one ball over the top to change their lives. That is true. We could see some life-changing
moments tonight.
But yeah, I think for Twente they've got to believe they can get back into this game.
Yeah.
If they can, suddenly Champions League qualifications back on the cards. If they don't, well, next week is pointless.
Yeah, exactly that. And Arsenal, it's the way around.
It's a bit of a shame, isn't it, that we could see all but like one place. I mean, the top 4 will still be up for grabs, probably.
Yeah.
But we could go into next week because if Twente lose now, and Paris FC and Volorennes, who I believe play each other tomorrow, they do indeed. If that's a draw, then Twente can't get through, Benfica can't get through, PSG can't get through, Roma can't get through, and Polten can't get through. So we already know 5 teams out. It would just be whether Paris FC or Bologna qualify. Or Leuven would also be in that conversation. And as it stands, Atletico.
No, fair enough. Yeah, it's more interesting though than the usual game week, match week where everyone's out. But
yeah, no, I agree. I'd much prefer this to watching like the same game in game week 3 and 4, and watching the same meetings twice. I think the knockout playoff rounds can be really exciting as well. I think the fact that there's more knockout rounds does make it more interesting. I think it adds more of an advantage, though, to be fair, I think, to the top teams. Because other than PSG and Roma, to be fair, though, both of those you'd have expected to qualify. But, it's I think it's made it very interesting. I think the knockout playoff round will be very enjoyable. And, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the Champions League group stage.
Yes, it's been very good. Now, as you say, I'm hoping that the knockouts are really going to live up to the billing as well.
Well, yeah, because isn't it like 5th draws?
It's weird. It's always weird. It's always weird.
I think it's like 5th versus 9th, 6th versus 10th, 7th versus 11th, and 8th versus 12th. Unless there's... no, there is a draw for it, isn't there? It is drawn. But I can't remember how it's seeded, unless anyone can play anyone. Join us for the draw next Thursday. Yeah. We'll find out, firstly, how the draw is going to work, and then we'll watch the draw.
We might have to watch about 57 different performances of the YMCA. Oh, no, that's FIFA. That's right.
No, that's the thing.
UEFA, right.
I found a newfound appreciation for UEFA draws.
Yeah.
After watching
the FIFA one.
The Donald Trump party. Might as well be what they called it. But yeah, should be back on the way for the second half.
This feels like a very long half time.
Not a lot to say from the first half, though, is there? I mean, Arsenal should have dictated the game more than they did, and they didn't. And Twente didn't really offer much of a response. The question will more be, in the second half, can Arsenal control the game, or can Twente muster up a response?
Yeah. I know, it just feels like it's been closer to 20 minutes now, it's 15. But they are now coming out onto the pitch, which is good to see.
Yeah. Green Decker, I think Twente would have come into this Champions League with belief they could have upset a few more teams than they have. Big draw against Chelsea on the opening night, but outside of that, they've failed to impress, really.
Yeah.
But there we go. And I think it will be Arsenal to get us back underway in this second half, if I remember correctly. It will indeed. Alessio Russo from the middle, waiting for the referees. We're always having a lovely chat with Olivia Smith as we speak.
Great. I'm glad
we can get back to the football. Russo waiting for the referee's whistle. And now can get the game restarted. Knocks it back. We're back underway in this Champions League phase game. Arsenal leading FC Twente by 1-0 here at Meadow Park in matchday 5 of the Women's Champions League. As it stands, Arsenal would qualify for the knockout playoff round. Okay, knocks it down the line into Hines. Kanate tries to shift it round the corner. Okay, so there is a throw. Ball out to the left-hand side. Rousseau tries to cut it back. It's one back well in there by Knoll. And now Twente will look to play out. Van der Vecht has to poke it out of play there under intense pressure from Olivia Smith.
Yeah, got to be positive Arsenal, got to be aggressive and look to come out early doors and kill this game off. Do not let Twente get into this one.
Gooney cross into Smith. Shifts it back to Katie McCabe. Caldete. One back well. Una Brink trying to get it back under her control there. And it is out for a 20 throw. That came off, I believe, McCabe. Van der Vecht. Throwing inside to Rord, who receives it well on the half turn. Now shifts out to the left-hand side. Here is Tuin. Tries to spread the play quickly, but it's Taylor Hines who'll pounce on it with the interception. Shifts it towards Paloma, but that's just in front of her. And now Twente can look to play forwards. Though Carlier has carried it forwards, turned around, trying to kick it out of play. Tuin gets back in. And Twente do somehow hold on to possession.
How has that worked? I have no idea.
Such a poor
He had
pass.
4 options and played it into the one gap where there was nobody.
Carlier. Tuin trying to knock it in behind. Ruben Moy hits away there with not quite controlling the ball as Catley is on hand to sweep up. Ruben Moy carrying it forwards. Now Catley. McCabe into Smith, who hugs the touchline now, drives inside, plays it into the run of Caldente, flicks around the corner into the hands of the Twente goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, good from Arsenal, trying to move it a little bit quicker. They know that a second goal will be very important, but yeah, not quite the finishing touch there.
Twente looking to play out Knoll into Ravensbergen. Catley jumps on her quickly. Now Caldente tries to poke it forward. Dispossessed by Van der Veet, who's passed inside. Is picked off by Cooney Cross. Neither side able to play an accurate pass in the first 2 minutes of this second half. That is a lovely knock from Wubben into Smith, whose touch is heavy and is dispossessed. Drops now for FC Twente, Una Rijberink. Trying to go down the line. That's not going to play. Off by Olivia Smith. That will be a Twente throw-in. Van der Veet. Throw into the middle of the pitch. Jill Rord. Trying to bring under control. One back by Caldente. Now Smith. Nice turn. Nowhere really to go there for Olivia Smith, and she is dispossessed. Van der Veet then trying to play up the line. McCabe wins it back. Here's Russo, wants to spin in behind off the shoulder of Knoll. Knoll, though, wins it back and then knocks it down the line. Here's McCabe. You can shift it inside. Now Cooney Cross, back out wide. McCabe. Catley. Now Mariona Caldente knocks it out to the right-hand side. Here's Taylor Hines. Hines trying to chop in onto her left foot there and create the cross. Forced back to Ubermoy though. He tries to play it forward. It's cut out. Ravensbergen tries to latch onto the loose ball. It falls in the possession though of Catley. Now Cooney Cross knocks it wide into Mead. Holds the width well. Caldente. Plover can't quite get there. Knocked out now to the right-hand side. Una Rijberink will get there. Wants to take on McCabe. Goes back, though, into Van der Veet. At the moment, neither side really able to do anything. Both sides trying to play football. But the passing's been quite sloppy. And the control quite sloppy. And neither side can really make anything happen with the ball. Carlier. Now Van Ginkel, who is further away from Olivia Smith now, so it will be more difficult for her to just foul her. Van Ginkel. Lifting it in behind. Una Rijberink. 1-on-1 with the keeper. Borba comes out well, and Rijberink catches her in the face. That's an unfortunate one. Brave goalkeeping from Borba. A yellow card for Una Rijberink. I think that's a bit of a difficult one. I think she makes a genuine attempt for the ball.
Yeah, she's got the right
the
to go
Arsenal
for it.
player's reaction is, I mean, I know it's their teammate, they're going to react like that, but
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's one of those. They've both got the right to go for it. Borba gets there first. Elbrink gets there second, and commits a foul, picks up the yellow card. It's one of those. It's the other way around. Elbrink gets there first. Borba gets there second and gets the yellow card and it's penalty. Good goal kicking though. Exactly what it needed. Was brave and got down and committed herself. Because if she backs out of that, then Elbrink's going to run past her and put in the goal. Really good goalkeeping. Hopefully she's okay. For Arsenal's sake, the last thing they need is another goalkeeper injury.
Yeah, this would be massively concerning.
It just looked to be shin on head almost. So,
I mean, given their option off the bench is 17-year-old Amy Lydiard.
I mean, what a game to be thrown into for your debut.
Yes, but I think Twente would suddenly want to really test that goalkeeper. I mean, they haven't tested Borba tonight, and that, for me, it is a travesty, really. The goalkeeper hasn't played a load of senior football, looked a little bit rash in the game against Liverpool on Saturday. I'd have tested her early.
Yeah.
But Twente haven't really got shots away.
Yeah, I think they'd like to have more than one effort at this point in the game.
players out to warm up then in case.
Well, I don't think Kim Little's going in goal.
Well, yes. Fox, Little or Ford, who fancies going in goal? I think Lydiard will be getting ready here just in case. I mean, they haven't shown any footage here of the goalkeeper, which is always a little concerning. Yeah, hopefully nothing serious for Borba. Arsenal, as was said, can't really afford a goalkeeper injury. I mean, if Borba was out injured, I believe they'd have grounds for an emergency loan deal. And apparently they are going to look to bring in a goalkeeper in January anyway. With their current situation, no Manu Zinsberger, no Daphne van Domselaar. Likely more of a third choice cover option. Borba does seem all right to continue, perhaps a little shaken, but doesn't look anything serious.
Yeah. Big plus that for Arsenal. Yeah, committed herself well, took the blow to the head, and it's done well to firm it and get up.
It's definitely shin. If it was boot, you'd have.
Oh yeah,
there'd been some sort of.
She should be off basically, and so would Ubering.
Here is Catley, and Arsenal now will carry this forwards with Moy. Knocks it wide into Hines. Now down the line looking for me. That'll run out of play. Now that'll be a 20 goal kick. But what we saw, and I think we haven't really spoken about that, but it's a ball in behind.
Yeah.
Twente had the opportunity. It was very tight between Ibring getting there and not.
Someone said it earlier.
Twente got open by that.
Twente just need one magical ball in behind, and suddenly they
change their lives.
Yeah, change their lives.
Audrey says should buy Mary Earps. Don't think they should. That's strong there from Olivia Smith. Gets away with it.
Getting her own back.
Ball in. Van Ginkel on hand to steer it clear. Foul there from Olivia Smith, that one too, for too harsh. And she brings down Jill Rawdon, a little bit of afters there. And Smith.
That's a very harsh yellow card. I think it was a very harsh free kick. She gets a foot on the ball.
Yeah,
it's not a foul.
No, it's not a foul.
She's been booked for getting the ball.
But yeah, no, Audrey, I don't think that would be a good signing for Arsenal. I think she'd demand way too high a wage. And I think Arsenal have already got a problem with entitlement, according to a lot of reports. And I don't
just fall out of everyone and write a book about it.
I can't think of a worse player to bring in if you've got a problem with entitled players than Mary Earps.
To be fair, she might need a sequel.
Yeah. Mary Earps 2. I can't remember what her book was called.
Oh, it's like being her. It weren't that. That was a terrible title. It was just be me.
Being her.
Being her.
The Mary Earps story.
The Mary Earps Chronicles.
All in.
All out. That's not the next one.
And then the next one's the Hokey Kogi.
God. The lyrics.
In out. All down the line. From Smith into Palova. Back now to Smith. In Rybrink as well there to just sort of shuffle up wider. McCabe. Catley. Now it's too slow again for Arsenal in these sorts of areas.
Yeah.
Got to inject a bit more pace into the game. Cardente.
I feel like it's one of those things with Arsenal where I feel like I've watched the same minute of football since the 15th minute. It's just been on loop.
Yeah.
Because it is just so... It's just the same thing over and over again.
First, says no thanks to Earps. She's been average since leaving United. Yeah, I mean, Pishy hasn't gone incredibly well, has it?
Yeah. It's one of those where is it her making the defence weaker or is it the defence in front of her making her weaker?
Yeah, I think they'll just bring in an older keeper that is already a backup, just as sort of like a backup. I mean, if they bring in a keeper to start, what the hell are they going to do? Because they've already got Borba, who should be good enough to play as a backup, hasn't really been given a chance before. She's been thrown in at the deep end.
I mean, I guess the difference is Zinsberg's out for the season is why they're doing it.
Or just says, Eddie Roebuck. Well, Roebuck's at Villa. I don't think he's going to move after only being there 6 months. She also gets minutes at Villa, which she wouldn't get at Arsenal.
D'Angelo's played a lot more than I thought she would, though. I thought Roebuck would be number one there.
Yeah, but Roebuck came in and did okay, but I think D'Angelo's actually had a really good season.
Well, she's
So it's
rubbish against
difficult,
Tottenham. Not that surprising to see. It was made for a terrible footballer. But
I thought she was good before the last 10 minutes, to be fair.
Yeah.
In terms of an Arsenal keeper, it's going to be someone older who doesn't.
It'll be the equivalent of when Chelsea bought in Becky Spencer.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anyone groundbreaking. It's not going to be a new name
I miss
on the
Megan
block.
Welsh. Or
I would love it if it was Megan Welsh.
Triple change came for Arsenal then. That'll be the end of the evening for Olivia Smith. And she's going to be replaced by Caitlin Ford. It's also going to be the end of the evening for Mariona Caldente. And she'll be replaced by Kim Little. And Victoria Pelova makes way to be replaced by Frida Mana.
Well, the return of Kim Little and a rest for Mariona Caldente. I never thought I'd see the day.
They're going to throw it away now.
Yeah.
Also, the 59th minute, that's a killer for UWCL Fantasy.
I feel for everyone involved.
Okay. With the throw-in.
Should you see how Arsenal, because Arsenal were pretty slow, but Smith was a bit of a spark. Now Smith's off the pitch. Great tackle from the referee there.
And gets in the way.
Oh
gets
my
the
days.
turns around. Rod van der Vecht.
But yeah, I'm intrigued to see now, because Smith was kind of providing a bit of energy into what was a bit of a slow.
Yeah, you're taking off your spark and your creative player in Caldente. I mean, we thought it was slow already.
If on
Ford,
Twente,
Varnum and Little.
get Jill Ward on the football. I still don't think Jill Ward's touched the ball tonight. We're 58 minutes through.
Process ended was full of decent keepers whose seasons just ended. Very easy to get a short-term option in Jan. Yeah, that'll be what they do. Like when they had, is it Sarah Boularus or something like that?
Yeah.
Might have butchered her name, but
Yeah, I think
she was like Arsenal's third choice goalkeeper. Tottenham did brought in Catalin Talbot. Chance now, and that's wide from Russo. Probably should have found the target at that sort of range. Just floating wide of the mark.
Yeah, good ball in, good move from Russo. Managed to get away and find himself a bit of space on the penalty spot. Should do better. Looks to flick it into the far corner, but once again puts it past the post tonight.
Yeah.
What are Twente doing?
That's not a great pass out, but I've done well to resist the press. Van der Vecht. Looks back to Rord, plays around the corner well. Catlev absolutely manhandled Ratzenberger. I don't know how. Ravensberger, I don't know how she's got away with that.
No. As I say, they came with a shot, and Ravensberger with her head falls to the ground.
I don't think Ravensberger actually ran over to the side of the pitch. She's dragged there by Steph Catley. McCabe. But yeah, ref's not been keen to give much.
It's been a weird night for refereeing.
Yeah.
I thought Catherine Campos earlier did not want to book anybody. I went out of her way not to book anyone, and tonight we've seen some really weird calls.
This ref didn't book anyone in the first half, booking every foul in the second.
Smith got booked for winning the football.
Here's Mead. Back now to Taylor Hines. It's funny because the Champions League referee standard is still incredible compared to the WSL.
Yeah.
So we can't complain too much.
I mean, Smith got wiped out in the first half and everyone closed their eyes.
It's true. Yeah.
That one is a free kick and it has been given.
Yeah, Grona Vegan just catching Beth Mead. Not sure how much intensity there was from Grona Vegan, but
it's smart football. It's smart play from Mead.
Just nipped in there.
That it's a winger special. Get your leg in between the ball and the defender, and the defender goes to kick it. They take you out instead.
So a free kick for Arsenal then. You'd expect to be Katie McCabe to take this. I mean, Arsenal don't have loads in the way of aerial presence. We've more at the back post. Is someone you think they'd target? Well, it will be either McCabe or Cooney Cross. It looks like it will be McCabe. Ball in towards the box. Moy does meet it. Punched away by Leme. And then hooked clear. And now drops for Kim Little. Ball into the area. Cleared away well. Now Twente looking to break. Denise says everything's going down the left. For goodness sake, switch it. I actually thought for the first half, Arsenal went down the right most of the time. There's occasional time they went down the left and they got Smith on the ball. The second half definitely been more going to the left, but I don't think they've gone to the right quite a lot. No. To be fair. Soft one. Ravensbergen trying to compete for the ball. Dean to have fouled a lot of Moy there.
Yeah, it's just his inconsistency because I think Ravensbergen's and Catley and Co had a really good battle tonight, and they've done that a lot, and it hasn't been given. But then, I mean, maybe that is a foul. But it's just,
yeah, could we might have done better with this? Could anyone have challenged that second ball a little harder? That was taken quickly, ball down the line. Just now for Ravensbergen trying to get away from Little shoving her down. That will be a Twente free kick.
27 minutes. And it's still not convincing, is it?
Van der Beek sends it forward, headed down by Moy. Absolutely not. There's still a goal in this game. The question is whether it's going to be for or against Arsenal. And if it's the earlier it happens, the more interesting this game or less interesting this game could become.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's one of those where what is Leme doing?
Trying to give the ball away.
What is she doing?
Picks up on the loose pass. It's Van Ginkel on the scene, though. He's not going to play.
It's one of those where if Twente are to score, it will come over the top on the break, and it will be it's one of those games where it feels like they're going to get one chance to score, and they've got to take it.
Coming forwards, and Van Ginkel rash again. Catches Mead in the challenge, and she'd be lucky to escape without a caution. But I think
she has been booked.
That was a yellow card.
Yeah. That's another really disappointing one for Van Ginkel because I thought she was excellent against Chelsea. Tonight she's been on a mission to see how many people she can kick, which isn't a sustainable way to play football.
No, not really. You will end up getting booked and then sent off.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been asking for that since very early on.
Yeah.
And that is her fourth foul of the game. And there were ones that weren't given.
Yeah.
So, free kick now. Mead and McCabe over this. I think, have we seen McCabe just put this on the goalkeeper in this sort of position?
Yeah. Got a far corner, just put it on top of the keeper.
Puts it straight out.
It's a goal.
And that is out for a goal kick. It came off forward on the rebound, who is the player most adamant that it didn't. Somehow.
Well reacted by Leme. Smart. I thought she should have gone far post, but no, McCabe just drills it at the near post, and it's actually a good save with the feet, is it? From Leme in here. Yeah, just through the bodies. And yeah, last touch off forward there.
Well, forward's fuming. And now Twente will look to play out. Leme visits the left-hand side. Van der Vecht. Unconventional. McCabe now brought down by Groenewegen. That is a massive overreaction from Katie McCabe, who I think we just need to check for snipers in the vicinity of the Meadow Park. Because this is incredible.
Twente have only had one shot. I know that isn't great, but Arsenal have only had 8. That's one every 8 minutes.
Yeah, can they have another one here? Cooney cross over this.
I've not tested Leme enough. And on the flip side, Twente have not tested Borba enough.
Yeah. Cooney cross. Swings it into the box. Bounces around. Russo. Saved well by Leme. Good save with the feet again.
That's what they need to do more of. That's a great save.
Yeah, Russo didn't drive enough power through the shot, but does still trouble the goalkeeper McCabe in towards the back post. And Ruben Moy, well, that headed towards goal looked more like a clearance as it seemed to go behind her. 2 players down. Ref isn't asked. Ball into the area. Chance now for Arsenal, and Noel is there. Gets in front of it and knocks it out of play.
Yeah, a bit of a clumsy moment there. I think it was between Mead and Ravensbergen. And Mead is complaining to the assistant referee on the far side.
Big goal in the Champions League. 10 players for Real Madrid, but they do lead by 2 goals to 0 against VfL Wolfsburg, strengthening their chance of progressing into the quarterfinals automatically. And it's Linda Caicedo. Surprise, surprise, with that goal.
Yeah, again, Real Madrid delivering on the European stage.
Yeah. So they've been very good this season, but they seem to win all the games I don't watch. McCabe, ball in towards the front post. It's blocked. Hooked out of play by Carlier.
Yeah, Twente just under a bit more pressure at the moment.
Phil says we'll find space as they push on to us. I'm thinking 3-0, but I'm not watching it. Fair enough. At the moment, they're just trying to push the goalkeeper and the ball into the net. Arsenal.
Yeah. It does feel that way, doesn't it?
The goalkeeper can't stop it if she's already in the goal. Ball in. And that one will be a foul. Caitlin Ford barrelling into the goalkeeper, and the referee the whistle before it was put into the back of the net.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that strategy.
Yes, yeah. I'm waiting to see it back. I wasn't actually watching to see if it was a foul. Was it a foul? Keeper's made the best of it, I'll be honest. No, there's a nudge, but
it's deliberate though from Ford to
it is, but it doesn't stop Lemo playing the ball at all. And she does go down very easily, doesn't stand her ground.
She shoulder barged the goalkeeper. I think that's very fair. That's given
it's one of those
where they did that when it wasn't a corner.
I know, yeah, obviously.
Shoulder barged the goalkeeper.
But it's one of those where if you allow play to go on, the goal goes in, it then depends what's given on field. I think if that was ruled off on field, they'd rule it off. If it was ruled on field, they'd rule it on.
Yeah, it was Rousseau driving that ball forwards for Arsenal. Couple players around her. Raw tries to win it back. Rousseau holds on to the ball. One back by Van Ginkel as the cross didn't have much height on it. Laid now into the fullback to it. Van Ginkel tries to play it through Beth Mead. Discovers Beth Mead is not transparent. Permeable, sorry. Transparent. Trying to think what the word is. Ball now in towards Marlon. And Groenewegen will win it back to it. But as we desperately needed proper aerial presence, corners both ways are a weakness. Well, to be fair, Michelle Adjumang will be back next season. That's a presence.
That is.
That's a big question. What do Arsenal do about strikers next season?
Oh, I don't know. Hang on.
I meant that's a chat as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Can Rousseau, Blacksenius and Adjumang coexist?
No.
Will Rousseau be a 10? Will Blacksenius leave?
I can tell you exactly.
Will Rousseau leave?
I can tell you.
Will Adjumang leave?
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Rousseau's going to play as a 10, and Blacksenius and Adjumang will rotate the striker role.
I think they'll play as a 2, and then they won't have any bench strikers again.
Oh dear. Adjumang out on the left wing. I was like,
it'll be a Callante Mead pivot. Okay, into Ford. Trying to go down the line. Van der Beek will get in her way though, and a good tussle between the two. And McCabe, her touch is heavy, and she is very angry about that. It's out now for an Arsenal goal kick.
20 minutes. I still don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. And that is a positive sign to see. Arsenal
is out to warm up.
Kim Little already back on the pitch, and Leah Williamson is also warming up.
Yeah, both made the bench on Saturday. We saw Kim Little come off the bench on Saturday, but Leah Williamson wasn't able to come on. Not really surprising with the state the game was in, the fact they needed a winner late on. Williamson isn't really the player they needed to bring on that occasion. Now, though, I mean, they'd be hoping that they can get another goal and be a little bit more comfortable before bringing on a player who's been out with an injury since July, sorry. But there we go. Cooney Cross back now to Lotta with Moy. Cooney Cross puts it in the box. Chance now for Arsenal, headed away well by Knoll. And now they look to play out. Ball down the line. Catley will get there. Drops now to Ravensbergen. It's going to be forced back. And now it's launched forwards. And out of play. Arsenal thrown on the near side again. And could we see some Twente changes soon? They get to make a sub in this game.
Potentially. Give themselves a bit something to work with. A bit more energy. Go at Arsenal.
I wanted Busman to come on, but unfortunately, she is a goalkeeper. Busman. Yeah, likely see Evans on at some point. Andra Dottir as well. Could be an option off the bench. Need a goal though, Twente. Where's that going to come from?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like either side's going to score at the moment. But this is football. Something's going to happen. There'll be a chance for one of these sides to score. That's not a bad ball in from. That's a terrible ball in from McKay.
Denise says, why do we wait for the ball to come to the player? They should be attacking it. Yeah, not a lot of urgency, is there, from Arsenal? Same sort of thing we've been speaking about with intensity and that sort of thing. Arsenal are not... There's not much energy to their performance.
No.
Totally looking to play out from this left-hand side. 2 in, takes an age about this throw-in. And it will drop now to Mead, who pounces on it well. Puts into the box. Marnham will drop now to Cooney Cross, who lashes it into the home end.
Yeah, not quite catching that one properly. Terrible reactions from the bloke at the back of the stand. Probably would have liked to hit the target.
If he's watching, catch it next time.
Oh, he tried to dig out of the way of it, but just ducked into it.
He's now comped out and you're...
No, he's fine. I can see him. He still stood up over there.
Ball forwards, drops in midfield. Here's Little. Catley. Now, Wouben-Moy. Hines. Carrying that ball forwards. Shifts it into Marnham. He tries to play it too quickly. Doesn't quite come off. It's lashed away. Here's Cooney Cross. Mead. Back to Cooney Cross. Groenewegen goes in hard.
Ooh.
But does she actually catch anyone?
I'd like to have another look at that one. I don't think there's much in that.
Well, we will have a look.
Yeah.
Mead falls over. It makes it look like more of a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. I think it is a foul. She just catches Cooney Cross to the trailing leg.
It's also the way she goes in, I think.
Yeah.
Just a bit too much force.
Yeah. Marnham there tried to play it too quickly, but that's the first. I think that's the first time tonight I've seen an Arsenal player try and play a first time pass. So it's something. Another opportunity to put the ball in the box though for Arsenal. They're not look. They've got 3 players. Arsenal.
4
forwards there. 4 players in the 20 penalty area.
And
there we go.
Rushing in from deep. Ball into the area. Russo's in there, but it's claimed well by the goalkeeper, Leme.
She didn't fancy herself. She thought to just stand in a line and watch the ball fly towards her rather than come and get it.
Leme will kick it long. Twente still have not had a shot in this second half. You wouldn't think they needed to get a goal to stay in the competition or stay with any shots.
I still don't think Jill Rod's out of football.
I don't think he's there.
It's incredible.
It's a myth. Here's Beth Mead. Hines ball in. Not a great cross. Ravensberger now just flicks it on. Little. Now Catley. Swung in. And that's headed away well. We'll drop in the box. 2-1 back there by Jill Rod. Drops. Cooney Cross brings it back though. Lovely chop. Tries to play it forwards. Groenewegen wins it back. Now they can try and play Rod out to the right hand side. Held up well by Ravensbergen, who's playing as the right winger now. Una Iberink's gone up front. They're trying to be very transitional. They haven't done that once today. Proust. Pass forward from Van der Beek doesn't come off. Proust turns. Brought down there by McCabe. McCabe then jumps on top of her. And Arsenal have the ball. Referee just lets them keep playing.
Yeah, run off. But yeah, one of the best, an elite midfielder on the pitch for Twente and Jill Rod, and they haven't tried to play through her once.
McCabe trying to make something happen. Shifts it inside to Kim Little. McCabe Now Ford delivered into the area, headed away.
So much time to put the ball in and still got horribly wrong.
Hines, Mead, back towards Hines, cutting inside, takes aim, blocked by Van Ginkel. Still alive, Kenny Cross can't quite hold on to that ball. Now they're coming forwards. Out now to Una Iberink, and, well, that's a very soft foul. But Beth Mead, no complaints, as there was a bit of a push. Surely, Twente should be making changes soon.
Yeah, if they want to go for it, they want something. It's a soft foul, but it is a foul. Here we go.
Now, well, that is going to be Sophie Proust making way to be replaced by Charlotte Holst. Be interesting to see as a midfielder for a forward, or a winger for a forward, so they're going for it a bit.
Yeah.
Can Twente actually find their forwards? Because I don't think they exist.
Surely at this point you just shoot from 40 yards.
Well, you got test ball, but he hasn't done anything all night.
He's probably got a deck chair out and a sleeve.
She's been kicked in the head, and that's it.
Yeah.
All goes long as Catley to sweep up, and she won't even let ball have a touch. Now moving wide.
If I were in the ball up in 20, I'd just shoot.
Cooney cross. Moving wide. Mead. Moving wide. Mead. Now Cooney cross. Plays it through into the run of Frida Marnham. Into the box. Russo off the bar. And that is a gilt-edged opportunity for Alessia Russo. And now Twente could break. Ravensbergen carries it forward. Hulst shifts it back. Here's Van der Vecht.
Best chance of the half, that, for FC Russo.
Yeah, Russo's got a score.
Should have made it 2-0.
No excuses on that one. She missed a hatful of chances in the second half against Liverpool. And that is another big opportunity missed.
So I love that during the game, the away people just moving there, playing the match board. Just by the side of the pitch.
Getting ready.
Oh dear. But yeah, that'd have killed the game off. But instead, it's still only 1-0.
Catley cuts out that forward pass. Here's Marnham. Released down the left-hand side. Now is Caitlin Ford. Again, that's so slow. Her touch was poor, and then she has to stop.
Yeah.
But as Rod's a mad one, she has world-class technical abilities, never found a way to consistently use it. Yeah, I think the transfer, obviously, from City was weird, but it's come out now she moved to be with a partner, and she's moved back home, so it's not, it makes sense to that extent. But I thought she played well at City. Was fairly consistent as well. So yeah, I think she would have done well as well in that system. Playing that Viviana Miedemar role.
Yeah.
That would have freed Miedemar up to actually be the backup striker.
And instead, she plays with Twente where she has to stand there and watch the ball just go over her head all night.
Yeah, I tried to get Twente dominant domestically, though. I mean, they were brilliant last season, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they are top of the league. Level on points with Ajax, but they do have a game in hand.
Yeah, Ajax
haven't lost a game yet this season, Twente.
It's pretty good.
And they've scored 28 goals in 8 games.
That's not bad.
Marnham. I'm back by Van der Vecht.
Big 10 minutes now. Big 10 minutes, these two sides. Twente as it stands will be out. Arsenal would be through, but one goal would change everything.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. There's going to be a chance of one of these sides. It's going to be a game state changing moment, you feel?
I think it might be Van Ginkel getting sent off.
Maybe.
Oh my God, or Van der Vecht getting sent off of kicking Marnham in the face.
And we're all just going to move on like that.
Didn't say it.
God.
Una Iverink. I thought we were about to see Frida Marnham get decapitated.
Oh my. I'm glad Marnham got that away.
Horribly high foot.
It's still a foul, and White won't give us a foul.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't in contact, but yeah, if Marlon got out of the way of that, that'd have been nasty.
Great knock to the left-hand side. Ford's isolated against the fullback. Situation most wingers would love. Ford has slowed it down. Now McCabe. Ball in. So loses the header. And now it's Van Ginkel. Out to the right-hand side. Tries to carry it forward, Sergio Rord, and she's dragged down by Ford.
Makes things happen, doesn't she, Joe Rord? Just makes things tick.
Yeah, she's a bloody good footballer.
Gets on the ball, and all she's done there is taking it from a defensive zone, 10 yards up the pitch, being fouled, and now her team on the front foot.
Mm.
That's all it takes. This was the Russo header a moment ago. They hit the bar, unmarked, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, got to find the back of the net there.
Got to score. Change for Arsenal, Taylor Hines making way, and that will see Emily Fox introduced to this game.
Why?
Because rest is just a state of mind, and they needed someone to give Beth Mead a gel.
Why?
So they had to make it.
Why would you rest? Why would you play Hines?
I mean, it makes the chance of them conceding.
7 minutes, though.
Van der Vecht trying to carry it forwards, gets away from Ford. Pass inside amounts to very little. Here is Fox. Carrying it forwards. Was a better defender, obviously. Considerably better defender. But still, you'd want to rest her. If you can. Catley. Ford. And that's one back, and here comes Twente. Jill Rord switching it to the left-hand side. Here's Una Iberink. Up against Fox. Can she use her fresh legs to keep up, but doesn't need to. So it's shifted back. Groenewegen. Ball in now from 2 in. Ravensbergen. Doesn't get much contact behind that.
Is that a shot?
It is.
They've done it.
Shot on target. Save for Borba.
They had a shot in the second half. She's onside as well. Probably should have done better.
Yeah.
But they've had a shot. That wasn't the moment I was talking about. That is not. I'm not counting that as my moment. Something's going to give in this game.
That's the moment we've all been waiting for.
I think we laugh at Twente because they've only had 1 shot on target, but Arsenal only had 4. Another really low quality affair in the Champions League for Arsenal, but they're getting the job done at the moment. And that's the big thing that matters.
Fox. Now Woobenboy. Catley. Into Kyra Cooney Cross. Steph Catley. Woobenboy. Into Emily Fox. Carries it inside. Back to Cooney Cross. Doubles it out wide into Mead. Now Arsenal moving from right to left. Catley into Little. He manages somehow to wriggle out of the grasp of Rord and Van Ginkel. Ball into the box there from Cooney Cross. Bounce to very Little. Does now shift it wide into Emily Fox. You can look to take on Una Iberink. Ball in. That's cleared away well.
Yeah, Arsenal just doing enough. Sometimes attack is the best form of defence, or maybe sometimes sitting on the edge of your opponent's area and not doing anything is the best form of defence. But it's enough at the moment, 4 minutes to play, to get the win across the line.
Back now to Woobenboy. Now the corner into Catley. McCabe.
That's a good ball.
Brilliant. Now as forwards breaking down the left-hand side. Cuts it into the box. Marnham. Not sure what's happened there, but it didn't look like a penalty to me. And McCabe nudges down Hulst. That will be a Twente free kick.
Yeah, I don't think it was a penalty on Marnham. Not enough in it, really. You know, it's a foul from McKay. I'm not sure what her complaints are. I'm not worried about that.
McKay always complains. She always fouls.
No.
Marnham
Marnham throws herself on the floor.
Lotus Enadozi is the keeper to buy. Unless you're going to sell Van Donselaar, no.
And give Brighton a lot of money.
Yeah, because Brighton got her for free off Paris in the summer, but they've signed her on a long-term contract only 6 months ago, so that costs a lot and would mean Van Donselaar's out. But yeah, Enadozi's a brilliant goalkeeper. Made around the corner, that's blocked out. Well, that's an Arsenal throw-in on the far side. Vinny Cross. Great switch of the play. And Knowles completely caught out. Pass across now for Marnham. Blocks. Falls for Little. Good challenge. Drops now for Russo. Finds Mead in towards the area. And Marnham there commits a foul on the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Ford, how do you... Yeah, that ball goes at the top. Noel has completely missed it.
Over.
And you just slow down.
And yeah, just nobody can put it in the goal. Will one goal be enough for Arsenal? Will it be enough?
Right, says that Garner kick would be a shout for someone to buy. What, Conlan? I thought she was okay in the game, but I haven't seen anywhere near enough of her to make a judgment fully. She's okay against an England B side who didn't mind. You weren't that bothered. But it's a heavy rotating England side, and yeah. Phil says not for me, which is great, but we don't need any more risk takers back there. I take it that's on Enadozi. Yeah. I think it's just, and just an elite goalkeeper. Chimak Enadozi, but she is very much a proactive goalkeeper. Ball sent forwards. Now Mead. Into Marnham, cleared away well by Noel.
Yeah, again, just a bit of a haphazard move. Marnham couldn't quite get on the end of it. Good clearance. Twente still keeping that 1 goal margin. But you feel they're running out of time depending on how many additional minutes we get. What is going on there between Marnham and...
Not really doing enough. Twente to try and find that equaliser.
No, they haven't gone for it in the way I thought they would.
No. All sent forwards. Here is Ravensburg. We've got 5 additional minutes in this game. Here's Kim Little. Just play it through the lines. One back by Twente. Little loose in there. Now it's with Cooney Cross. Little. Brought down. Wasn't much in that. But is given as a foul.
Well, Arsenal have seen a couple late goals in the Champions League games so far. A couple for them, couple against them. Is there another?
Groenewegen now roared. Here comes Twente. Shifts it wide. Hulst. That's a massively overhit delivery. Groenewegen not happy.
Yeah, Hulst got that horribly wrong. Missed opportunity, that breaking away. Twente. That delivery's got to be better. Got to be better. Yeah, just overhit it. It feels like Twente aren't going to get anything out of this. I mean, it's a difficult one because Arsenal, yeah, of course, Arsenal are the better side, but Twente have hung in there, I suppose. I don't know. I just think it's been a really poor second half from both sides.
Poor standard game. Arsenal haven't played very exciting football. Twente have been abysmal. They've just offered nothing coming.
Abysmal's a bit harsh.
Well, they've been okay defensively, but they need to at least draw to have any chance of going through in the Champions League, and they've just not. They've not gone for the game at any stage tonight. And they've only lost 1-0, but they're okay defensively. But I was expecting them to offer more of a challenge, especially given Arsenal haven't really killed this game off.
No.
You'd expect the Twente to, have a bit of belief, and
it was the kind of game where you could sit here and say that the longer it stays at 1-0, the more the game will come towards Twente, the more they'll get a chance.
Change for Arsenal, slowing that clock down. On the clock down, it is going to be Alessia Russo making way for Stina Blackstenius. Winning goal scorer, of course, on Saturday. Blackstenius, an important winner there for Arsenal as they hosted Liverpool.
At least Russo will get a nice 3 minutes rest for Everton on Saturday.
Yeah, another game where Russo failed to find the target. Had chances. Just couldn't quite find the target. Good challenge in there from Grona Vegan. Not sure if that ball came off her or Marnham, though, to be fair.
Yeah, contentious one. Really hard one to tell on the byline, surrounded by bodies.
No, I said I've watched this side by side with Inter versus Liverpool in the Men's Champions League, and there's only one goal combined.
You've picked some bad games. I don't know where all the goals were.
If you'd watched PSG Leuven, which is also 0-0,
that's
you
still
would
0-0.
not have seen a goal. Yes.
PSG deserve to go. They are out, aren't they, if they draw that game?
Yes, they're out.
They deserve to go
20 shots.
Rubbish.
6 on target.
Is Kanjinga on there
2
now?
big chances.
That's why they had 14 shots in the second half. She had 12 on them.
Yes, she was subbed on in the 46th minute.
Yes!
And has taken 6 shots.
Kanjinga!
Oh, I love Kanjinga.
Can't actually be out. Someone else should sign her up.
I have to watch the D1 Arkema just to see how she's getting on.
What a stupid...
Oh my god, Real Madrid got another red card.
What? Well, that's 9.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to know which would you like to know the country of where all those officials come from who are doing that game?
Germany.
England. That's Kirsty Dow.
Iris Ashley.
Sent 2 Real Madrid players
Iris
off.
Santiago, sorry, sent off. I don't know why it says Iris Ashley there. That is 9 players now for Real Madrid, yet they do lead by 2-0.
Only a set of English officials could send 2 players off on the same team in a Champions League match. I look forward to watching that one back later.
What on earth have Wolfsburg done there, by the way?
Well, that's a good ball in. That's a good ball in. Oh, Borba just about gets there. That was the chance for Twente. Absolutely nothing. It was just pumped into the box from the centre half. Teasing ball, and it just fell in between the 2 Twente attackers, and Borba managed to just about get there. That was the chance, though.
That'll probably be all she wrote for this game. Free kick in there, which Arsenal will take. That will be it you'd expect. Jackie says PSG so bad now they're out. Yeah. Deserved. They are so bad. So
after reaching was it semi-finals 2 years ago and then didn't make the tournament and now league phase.
Without a point at the moment. Oh, sorry, first point today against Leuven. It's forward, carries it to the corner. That McCabe, and that is the full-time whistle. An important 3 points for Arsenal. Not a pretty 3 points, but points are prizes, and that will see Arsenal into the Champions League knockout phase. It is going to be a knockout playoff round for Arsenal this year. Their chances of qualifying into the quarterfinals automatically are very slim, but that is an important win, and it leaves Arsenal 6th in the league phase. Obviously, with a lot of games to happen tomorrow, but important 3 points for the Gunners, Harry.
Yeah, exactly. Got the job done, as you say. It wasn't the best performance we've ever seen, but they got the job done. Made sure that next week isn't going to be, there's not going to be any pressure on it. It's not going to be a risky game, but they've done the job. They are through, and they can say as reigning champions that they are not crashing out of the league phase.
Yeah, absolutely. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back here for more Champions League action. It's Barcelona taking on Benfica as the 5:45 game. And I can't remember what the...
Manchester United, Lyonnais.
Yeah, looking forward to that. United taking on OL Lyonnais. 2 big games coming away tomorrow evening. Should be good fun. We're back on Thursday as well with the equally exciting Aston Villa versus Liverpool. And then this weekend, yet more UWCL action as Arsenal take on Everton on Saturday morning. Join us for that. And then we've got a doubleheader on Sunday as well. But I'll save who is playing. I mean, you can have a look yourselves, but we'll save that for another time. Anyway, that is everything from us today. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. That is everything. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.